At this time, I want to welcome up John McGovern, who's with the Earth Day Coalition, and he is the Clean Fuels Coordinator. So let's give John a nice round of applause.
Thank you, Matt. Thanks, everybody, tonight for hosting us here on this very important issue. I'm going to try to find a good way to stand at this. I'll try to stand behind. I'm sorry. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let me introduce myself. My name is John McGovern. The work that I do is clean transportation. Let me explain to you what that means. I work with an organization in town called the Earth Day Coalition. If you're not familiar with us, I can probably guess you've been to the big event that we do every year called Earth Fest, which is held down at the Cleveland Metro Park Zoo every Earth Day. It is now the longest running celebration of Earth Day in the entire country. So something to be proud of here in Cleveland. So my role at the Earth Day Coalition is to work with fleets. I work primarily with fleet managers to help those fleet managers move away from petroleum-based fuels. That's what I do, okay? All the information that I work with comes from the U.S. Department of Energy. In 1999, Earth Day Coalition's Clean Fuels program was designated as an official Clean Cities Coalition. That means that we receive information directly from the U.S. Department of Energy's Clean Cities program, which is inside of the U.S. Department of Energy's Office of Energy Efficiency. We take that information and we work with fleet managers. Again, the role or the goal is to help those fleet managers move away from petroleum-based fuels. Okay. Now, I want to thank real quickly, I want to thank Howard Mayer and I want to thank Dr. Khatri for doing kind of what I would call the heavy lifting aspect of this presentation. That was the difficult part. My part is really quite simple. I'm going to talk about the budget side of this. You turn off your key, you're saving fuel. It's quite obvious, right? We probably all know that. There's a bit of a reluctance, and a big part of it is changing people's behavior, okay? Changing people's behavior, very difficult thing to do. My presentation is really quite short, okay? I'm gonna basically just give you some numbers, which I think will be quite obvious to you. I think they'll be a bit impactful because you'll see them kind of the multiplier effect. But what I want to really emphasize today, or I guess it's tonight, is that in my mind, this issue is critical, okay, to the future of our region. We're talking about the quality of our air. What could be more basic of a human right than air quality? You could certainly argue water, but we pay for water. Air is free, right? It should be. Quality air should be is a quality of life issue. It is a basic human right. And what I want to say to you folks today, especially those of you that are representing constituents, citizens, and so forth, I think what we have here, how you can present this to your constituents and your citizens, is nothing less than kind of this amazing triple benefit that in my mind is superior even to, oh, what's his name? LeBron James. You know, he gets those triple doubles all the time. This is better than a LeBron James triple double. Even last night, right? Last night he had 50-some points and 12 rebounds. I mean, crazy. This is better because it actually does something for the future of our city. Not to take anything away from LeBron, okay? But really, I mean, and here's what it does in my mind. Number one, Dr. Khatri talked about the fact that it is a health issue, and it certainly is. So you can tell your constituents, your residents, your citizens, they turn off their key, they're helping the health, right? They're improving the health, especially for the most at-risk citizens, which are elders, what I would call the wise people. We don't do enough, I think, to seek their input oftentimes, but the wisdom, and then the youth, the next generation. Second thing that I'm going to talk about, you turn your key, you save money. I mean, what can be more appealing to a constituent or a citizen than saving money, right? Bottom line stuff here. And then the big one to me is this great idea of the common good that Howard Mayer talked about. And that is, you stop idling, you reduce your fuel use, and you help the economy of greater Cleveland, right? Because you're reducing the barrier for businesses to come here that are going to be net polluters. That is a huge, huge factor because every headline you see is all about job creation, right? It's all about the economy. Well, here's something that every single citizen can do, and it's really easy. It's just turn the key off. It benefits them directly, it benefits elders, it benefits youth, and it benefits the entire region, which is just fantastic. I can't think of a better thing to present to a citizen than that argument. So I'm going to, oops, there's my slide. I'm going to go to the next slide. I'm going to tell you kind of what I do. Okay, what I do is, again, I work primarily with fleet managers. The things that I do with fleet managers is I help them move away from petroleum-based fuels. How do we frame that? Because there are so many solutions. We frame it as fuel-based solutions, which you see are kind of the plug-and-play, the easy solutions, because you put it in the engine and it runs. What are some of those fuels? Anybody know? I used to teach 8th grade, and I get the same response when I'd ask that question. Anybody know? So don't feel bad. Biodiesel. Anyone heard of biodiesel? Biodiesel will run in any diesel engine. That's often misconstrued, that biodiesel have to modify the engine. Not true. Ethanol. Ethanol will run in any slightly modified gasoline engine. But right now, U.S. automakers plus Toyota and Nissan, Honda are making about 500,000 E85 vehicles per year. Okay? Those are fuel-based solutions. Practice-based solutions are what we're going to talk about today, the big one, changing people's behavior around idling. And again, my presentation, I'm just going to talk about the numbers, the budget side of this, but I hope I presented kind of a very convincing argument for you today about what you can tell your constituents, your citizens, that this is a triple win for us, okay, and for them. And then last, technology-based solutions, which are things like hybrid electric vehicles. Anyone here drive a hybrid? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Hybrids are great because they don't idle at all. When you come to a stop at an intersection, the engine totally cuts off. And then when you start again, you're powered by electric power until you get up to a certain speed, and then you're engaging either the diesel or the gas engine. Hybrids are great in that particular regard. Technologies, other technologies would be full electric vehicles. We've got things called electrified truck stops. Anyone ever heard of an electrified truck stop before? There's one up on I-90. What is it, Howard, outside of Conneaut? Is that where it is? That area? I always get this confused. Erie. Electrified truck stop basically allows a big rig semi-truck, these trucks are carrying loads across the country, to pull in, rest overnight. But typically when you're resting, right, you don't want to have heat or air conditioning, and that means you have to turn on the engine. What an electrified truck stop allows that driver to do is to import all that power kind of via a big line that kind of plugs into the cab. You've got air conditioning comes in on that line, heat, oftentimes internet, different telecommunications technology, so the driver can not use any fuel at all, which means no idling. So, and then the practice-based solutions that I want to talk about. The thing, again, today is idle reduction. What are some other practice-based solutions? Howard talked about a few of them. Getting people to ride transit is a great one. I don't think there's any better way to get to know this city than to ride on transit. Not only that, but get to understand, kind of put yourself in other people's shoes, which I think is a very valuable thing for all of us to do, to understand kind of where other people are coming from. It's very valuable. I'm not going to preach too much about that. I am an avid transit user, I will say, and it definitely influences the way that I live my life. And then on the right there is just the work of all the Clean Cities coalitions. Laser time. Here we go. Okay, I pressed the wrong button. This guy does not know. I will not use this remote anymore. I'm sorry, folks.